Good morning, students. This is third part of the chapter Lost Spring. We all know very well that Lost Spring by Ernest Chung is a description of those poor children, is a description of those poor children who are condemned to poverty and a life of exploitation. And the two protagonists of the chapter are the two protagonists of the chapter are Sahibi Alam and Mukesh, who lose their childhood while carrying the burden of poverty and illiteracy in their bleak stories of exploitation. The author finds glimpses of resilience and hope here. So, first part of the chapter is highlighted with the line sometimes I find a rupee in the garbage, and the second part is I want to drive a car. So we have two characters in this chapter. First one is two protagonists. First one is Sahib Alam, a rag picker. Second one is Mukesh, son of a bangle maker. And for your kind information, I would like to mention this thing that this is an extract from the book titled Lost Spring Stories of Stolen Childhood by Ernest Jung. So let us start with the chapter Lost Spring. Up to now, we have completed that Ernest Jung met a boy near to her house, and she raised a question that why do you do this, means why you put your hands into garbage. I ask Sahib, whom I encounter every morning scrounging for gold. It means every morning the writer sees a young rag picker boy who visits the garbage dump near her house and searches for gold. It means gold. What is gold for him? 1 rupee is gold for him. 1 rupee is gold for him. And the writer says that he searches for gold. Means Ernest Jung explained that the boy searches for gold ironically, because although the garbage dump is full of useless thrown away things, still he shuffles it so minutely, okay, as if he will get something as precious as gold from it. Then we have informed that the boy's name is Sahib. His home in Dhaka was in the middle of lush green fields, and they left it many years ago, and he does not remember it anymore. His mother too had told him that there were many storms which destroyed their homes and fields, and so they left home and shifted to cities in the search of gold. Then we have come to know later on means Ernest Jung, writer, asked him that why why does he not go to school, क्यों स्कूल क्यों नहीं जाता है. The writer suggests that he should go to school. Okay, fine. And at the same moment she realizes that her advice is meaningless for the poor boy. He replies that there are no schools. In her colony. Or there are no schools in his area. So then we have come to know that later on she explained. There is if I start a school, will you come? I asked, half joking. If I start a school, will you come? I asked, half joking. Yes, he says, smiling broadly. A few days later, I see him running up to him. Is your school ready? Okay, so Sahib replies to the writer that he has nothing else to do other than rag picking. The writer suggests that he should go to school. At the same moment, she realizes that her advice is meaningless for the poor boy. He replies that there are no school in the area where he lives. Okay, and when writer asks him jokingly that if she opened a school, would he attend it? And after some days, we have seen. After some days we have seen what Sahib says that he would join the writer's school, and after a few days he runs up to her to ask whether her school is ready. The writer replied that it takes a lot of time to build a school. Fine. So up to now we have gone through, up to now we have already means what that we have already read up to here. After a few months of knowing him, I asked him his name. Sahib-e-Alam, he announces. He does not know what it means. If he knew its meaning, Lord of the Universe, he would have a hard time believing it. Means Sahib-e-Alam kaun? Kachra uthane wala. Or Sahib-e-Alam, it's a grand meaning, Lord of the Universe, who is having all, you can say, who is having whatever he would like to enjoy. Okay, so but here there is an irony. If he knew its meaning, Lord of the Universe, he would have a hard time believing it. Unaware of what his name represents, उस बच्चे को नाम भी नहीं पता था कि उसके नेम का मीनिंग क्या है. He roams the streets with his friends, an army of barefoot boys who appear like the morning birds and disappear at noon. Over the months I have come to recognize each of them. Over the months I have recognized each of them. So over here the writer had known Sahib for a few months. When she asked him his name, he replied as if he was making an announcement that his name was Sahib-e-Alam. The writer thought that the boy did not know the meaning of his name, and if he came to know, agar usko naam ka apna meaning pata pade, that his name meant Lord of the Universe, he would not be able to believe it. Usko to believe ही नहीं होगा. क्यों? क्योंकि his name is not suitable for him, and it would be hard for him to believe it. वो suitable क्यों नहीं है name? Because he is very poor boy, and Lord of the Universe who possess each and everything. Fine. Then after months of what happened? Why aren't you wearing chappals? I asked one. My mother did not bring them down from the shelf. So means here the author means after knowing them one day, author Anish Chung called one of the boy. Anish Chung called one of the boy and asked him, why aren't you wearing chappal? Why aren't you wearing chappal? Why aren't you wearing chappals? So the boy replied that his mother did not bring them down from the shelf. His mother did not bring them down from the shelf. Okay, and other one explained, even if she did, he will throw them off. Even if she did, means the writer asks one of them that why was he not wearing any footwear? Why was he not wearing any footwear? The boy simply replied that his mother did not get them down from the shelf as they were beyond his reach. He did not wear them. So the other boy explained, another boy who was wearing a different shoe in each foot said that even if his mother would have given him the footwear, he would have thrown it away. He meant that the boy was not wearing footwear because he did not want to wear the one. The writer asked the second boy the reason for wearing a different shoe in each foot. He did not reply and shuffled his feet. So we can see over here what? That Anish Chung has explained over here that he saw that the boys appeared. An army of barefoot boys appeared in the morning like the morning birds. Okay, and dissipated at noon. The writer could recognize each of them as she had been seeing them for the past few months. So one day the writer asked one of them that why was he not wearing any footwear. The boy simply replied कि उसकी मम्मी उसको फुटवेयर नहीं देती है, वो कहाँ रखती है उनको? शेल्फ के ऊपर, अलमीरा के ऊपर. Then the other boy gave the explanation. That if she, means if his mother would have given him the footwear, he would have thrown it away. And the boy who was not wearing, the boy who was explaining, the boy was not wearing footwear because he did not want to wear one. The writer asks the second boy कि तुमने क्यों different shoes पहन रखे हैं? He did not reply and shuffled his feet and he tried to hide the shoes. A third boy spoke that he was eager to get a pair of shoes as he had never owned one all his life. So here we would like to I would like to make one opinion over here. You have to understand that why do the boys not wear shoes? Why? Understand it. Okay, traveling across the country, I have seen children walking barefoot in cities on village roads. It is not lack of money, but a tradition to stay barefoot is one explanation. I wonder. Means the writer explains over here. The writer takes the example of shoes to highlight the condition of these boys. The writer takes the example of shoes to highlight the condition of these boys. What? She further tells us that she has traveled across the country. She had seen many children walking barefoot in the cities as well as the villages. They reason, जब बच्चों को पूछते हैं या पेरेंट्स को पूछते हैं तो वो बताते हैं they were barefoot not due to lack of money to buy footwear but being barefoot was a tradition for them. वो अपनी poverty को छुपाते हैं किससे? Tradition के नाम पे. The writer wondered and concluded that the reason of it being a tradition was a mere excuse to hide the never-ending poverty which has gripped them. So here the writer recalls one incident. I remember a story. Man from Udupi once told me as a young boy he would go to school past an old temple where his father was a priest. He would stop briefly at the temple and pray for a pair of shoes. 30 years later, I visited his town and the temple, which was now drowned in air of desolation. In the backyard where lived the new priest, there were red and white plastic chairs. A young boy dressed in a grey uniform, wearing shoes and socks, arrived panting and threw his school bag on a folding bed. Looking at the boy, I remembered the prayer another boy had made to the goddess when he had finally got a pair of shoes. Let me never lose them. The goddess had granted his prayer. Young boys like son of the priest now wore shoes, but many others like the rag pickers in my neighborhood remained shoeless. Means what does the writer explain here? What does the writer explain here? The writer narrates a story. The writer narrates a story over here. What? Udupi is a town in Karnataka and Udupi is also a place in Uttar Pradesh. So the writer narrates a story told to her by a man from Udupi. When he was a young boy, the man explained, when he was a young boy, एक आदमी ने राइटर को एक बार कहानी बताई थी कि जब वो छोटा था, he would walk to his school. On his way, he would cross a temple where his father worked as a priest. He would stop at the temple and pray to God to bless him with a pair of shoes. After 30 years, the writer visited the town. After 30 years, the writer visited the town. Writer उसी टाउन में गई जहाँ एक छोटा सा बच्चा पूजा करता था, प्रेयर करता था शूज के लिए. Now, after 30 years, now the place was nearly empty. वो place empty हो चुका था. The new priest जो प्रेयर करता था बचपन में शूज के लिए, the new priest lived in a backyard of the temple. Plastic chairs in red and white color were kept there. A young boy came running. एक दूसरा लड़का आता है भागते हुए. मीन्स जो न्यू पुजारी का एक बच्चा है वो स्कूल से आता है. He was wearing grey colored school uniform, socks and shoes, and he had a school bag hung on his shoulder. He threw it on the bed and ran away. Writer wants to say that the financial position of the priest at the temple had improved over the last 30 years. Writer ये कहना चाहती है कि पहले एक छोटा बच्चा जो प्रेयर करता था शूज़ के लिए, उसके पास में शूज़ नहीं थे. वही बच्चा बड़ा होके एक पुजारी बनता प्रिस्ट. अब उसका जो बच्चा है, मीन जो नेक्स्ट जनरेशन है, देयर कंडीशन हैव इम्प्रूव्ड. ओके, और उस बच्चे ने शूज़ पहन रखा है. एंड नाउ ही कुड अफोर्ड शूज़ फॉर हिज चिल्ड्रन. She was reminded of another boy who got a pair of shoes. उसको याद आता है कि उडीपी के बच्चे, पृष्ठ के बच्चे अब शूज पहन रखे हैं. Why? Because उनकी कंडीशन इंप्रूव हो गई है और अब पृष्ठ के बच्चे प्रे करते हैं. He prayed to the goddess that he may never lose shoe. मीन्स वो प्रेयर करते हैं देवी मैया हमारे जूते हमसे अब कभी मत लेना. He prayed to the goddess that he may never lose the shoes that he had got. Okay, and the goddess had granted his prayer as the boy never lost his footwear. This shows us that the underprivileged value anything that they get because they have been longing for it. And one more thing is that the condition of the priests have improved, but still the rag pickers are in the same condition. They are still living in the dirty area where they don't have any basic amenities. Fine. So now next paragraph. My acquaintance with the rag pickers leads me to the Simapuri, a place on the periphery of Delhi, yet miles away from it, metaphorically. Students, I would like to mention you one thing over here. That Anis Chung is a journalist, columnist, and she is a social activist, and that's why she has interest in revealing the true facts of India, and that's why she has interest in rag pickers. She would like to tell that why these children are not able to enjoy the spring of their life. Spring means childhood of their life. Okay, and for that reason she goes to the Simapuri. I have already explained you. Simapuri is a place on the periphery of Delhi, yet miles away from it. Means all the rag pickers family, around 10,000 families are living in the in the area of Simapuri. My acquaintance with the barefoot rag pickers leads me to Simapuri, a place on the periphery of Delhi, yet miles away from it, metaphorically. Those who live here are squatters who came from Bangladesh back in the year 1971. So acquaintance means contact. Okay, we know very well. Acquaintance, pehchan, and periphery, outer area. Periphery is outer area. Then metaphorically means symbolically. Okay, and squatters, we all know very well. Squatters over here, we all know very well. A person who unlawfully occupies an uninhabited building or unused land. Wilderness, a wasteland. Okay, so over here the author describes what? The area where this rag pickers boys live, Simapuri, located on the outskirts of Delhi, was very different from the capital of country. Ab dekho, there is no basic amenity in the area. In 1971, when these rag pickers had migrated from Bangladesh, the area had been a wasteland. Simapuri was still a wasteland, but now it was not empty, as almost 10,000 rag pickers lived there in structures made of mud, with roofs made of thin sheets of tin or plastic material. Okay, there was no sewage, drainage, or running water facility in Simapuri. They lived in unhygienic conditions. Fine, they lived in unhygienic conditions over here. Then the author explained, they have lived here for more than 30 years without an identity, without permits, but with ration cards that get their names on voter lists and enable them to buy grain. Food is more important for survival than an identity. आप देखिए सीमापुरी में वो रह रहे हैं, इतनी गंदगी में रह रहे हैं, एंड उन्होंने अपना जो ब्यूटीफुल प्लेस है, उनका जो ब्यूटीफुल प्लेस था बांग्लादेश, वो उसको लीव करके आ चुके हैं. बांग्लादेश ग्रीन लश फील्ड्स. वाई? बिकॉज दैट प्लेस very often catches what? Storms and natural calamities. So over here it has been explained that they have left what? Which place? Bangladesh. Okay, and they have lived here in Simapuri for more than 30 years without an identity. The rag pickers had been living illegally in Simapuri for the last 30 years. They have occupied the area without government permission or ownership. The politicians of the area have provided them ration cards and voter identity cards. Okay, they got grocery for their family through these ration cards, and in return they cast their votes in favor of the politician who had helped them. The writer asked a group of women. The writer asked a group of women what? That the writer asked a group of women who were wearing torn sari that why did they left their homes in Dhaka? Why did they left their homes in Dhaka? कि उन्होंने ढाका को क्यों छोड़ा? इतना beautiful place है. So they replied what? If they were able to satisfy the hunger of their family, if they able to satisfy the hunger of their families and sleep well at night, they were happier to live in Simapuri than their fields in Dhaka, which were ruined and gave them no food. Fine. So, food is more important for survival. Food is more important for survival than identity. Food is more important than survival for identity. It is mentioned over here. That food is more important for survival than an identity. If at the end of the day we can feed our families and go to bed without an aching stomach, we would rather live here than in the fields that gave us no grain. Because Bangladesh के ढाका की fields हमें कुछ नहीं देते हैं. Say a group of women in tattered sarees. When I asked them why they left their beautiful land of green, fields and rivers. Wherever they find food, they pitch their tents that become transit homes. Children grow up in them, becoming partners in survival, and survival in Simapuri means rag picking. Through the years, it has acquired the proportions of fine art. Garbage to them is gold. It is their daily bread, a roof over their heads, even if it is a leaking roof. But for a child, it is even more. So, it is explained over here what? That they replied over here that these people travel. Anish Jung has explained over here, these people traveled in search of food, and wherever they found it, they set up temporary homes and started living there. Their children kept on growing there. उस tent में बड़े होते रहते हैं, and gradually they also started helping their parents in seeking means of survival. For those who lived in Simapuri, the means of survival was rag picking, as they had been doing it for many years. They become trained at rag picking and did it well. For the rag pickers, the garbage was as precious as gold. Why? Because these families searched the garbage dumps and got things which they sold to fund their food. इस garbage को बेच के उनको पैसा मिलता है और उसी से उनको खाना मिलता है. And they gathered torn or damaged sheets which were used to cover the roofs of their homes. These did not cover them well. हालांकि उससे उनकी बॉडी पूरी कवर नहीं होती, उनकी छत कवर नहीं होती, but still provided them with some protection. For the children, the garbage dumps were more than a means of survival. Means what? Means of entertainment. Because children enjoy scrounging garbage, and sometimes they find a rupee, sometimes 10 rupee, and sometimes that thing, sometimes that thing, and they enjoy their life. Okay. So, up to now we have completed over here. I sometimes find a rupee, even a 10 rupee note. Sahib says his eyes lighting up. When you can find a silver coin in the heap of garbage, you don't stop scrounging. For there is a hope of finding more. It seems that for children, garbage has a meaning different from what it means to their parents. For the children, it is wrapped in wonder. For the elders, it is means of survival. So we have come to know that. She has explained, author has explained that garbage is means of survival for elders and means of entertainment for children. One winter morning, I see Sahib standing by the fence gate of the neighborhood club, watching two young men dressed in white playing tennis. Means actually, she is. Anish Chung is doing research on these children. So one winter morning, I see Sahib standing by the fence gate of the neighborhood club, watching two young men dressed in white playing tennis. I like the game, he hums. Content to watch it, standing behind the fence, I go inside when no one is around, he admits. The gatekeeper lets me use the swing. Okay? Sahib too is wearing tennis shoes that look strange over his discolored shirts and shorts. Someone gave them to me, he says in the manner of an explanation. The fact that they are discarded shoes of some rich boy who perhaps refused to wear them because of a hole in one of them does not bother him. For one who has walked barefoot, even shoes with a hole is a dream come true. But the game he is watching so intensely is out of his reach. So over here, one day, what happened that he finds one day, one fine winter morning, the writer saw Sahib standing by the fence of a club. He was fence means fence, you know very well, covered by some you can say barracks, or you can say some kind of sheets and all. Okay, fence gate. So Sahib was standing by the fence of a club. He was watching a tennis game being played by two young men. Sahib liked the game but could not play it because that game is not in his destiny. वो उसके destiny में game नहीं है. He told the writer that he went inside, but उसने further कहा कि he told the writer that he went inside the club when it would be closed. He was allowed to take swings by the guard there. The writer saw that the Sahib was also wearing tennis shoes. आज साहिब ने जूते पहन रखे. They did not look appropriate with his dress, okay, which was worn out and had faded. He told the writer, साहिब ने explain किया in an attempt to justify himself that someone gave him the shoes. ये जूते किसी ने दिए हैं. She however figured out, लेकिन writer को समझ में आ गया that he had got them from a garbage dump. They must have been thrown away by a boy from a rich family, as he did not want to wear them. Okay, anymore. Probably they had a hole or two in them, due to which he did not want to wear them. Okay, on the contrary, Sahib was not bothered. So Sahib को कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. क्यों? Wearing them, as he could not afford anything better than that. He walked barefoot, and to wear a shoe even with a hole was like a dream for him. Okay, so we have come to know that their pathetic condition force them to wear whatever they get in poverty. Fine. Although due to the garbage dump, Sahib's dream of wearing shoes had been partially fulfilled. हम देखते हैं कि यहाँ पे partially तो fulfilled हुआ, चाहे shoes में hole है, but his desire to play tennis would never be fulfilled. देखो, shoes तो उसको मिल गए, लेकिन tennis उसको कभी खेलने नहीं मिलेगा. Okay, fine. Then we will come to know that after some days, okay, this morning Sahib is on his way to milk booth. You can see over here that after some days, what has happened over here, that after some days he has started doing job. This morning Sahib is on his way to milk booth, and in his hand is a steel canister. I now work in a tea stall down the road, he says, pointing in a distance. I am paid 800 rupees, and I am paid 800 rupees and all my meals. Does he like the job? I asked his pay. This morning Sahib on his way to milk booth. In his hand is a steel canister. I now work in a tea stall down the road, he says, pointing in the distance. I'm paid 800 rupees and all my meals. Does he like the job? So over here, one morning the writer met Sahib, who was on his way to the milk booth. She She stopped him. He was holding a steel container. He told her that he had got a job at the nearby tea stall. He would earn 800 rupees a month and get meals too. आप देखो, जिस बच्चे ने गार्बेज में हैंड्स वो डेली अपने स्क्रॉन्च करता था फॉर 1 रुपी 10 रुपी, तो अब तो उसको 800 रुपीज मिले. ही मस्ट बी हैप्पी. लेट्स सी, देखते हैं. डज ही लाइक द जॉब? आई आस्क्ड, मैंने पूछा, क्या तुम खुश हो? हिज face, I see, has lost the carefree look. The steel canister seems heavier than the plastic bag he would carry so lightly. Why? Because as now Sahib was working for someone, the writer asked him if he liked the job. As she could see that he had lost the carefree look. उसकी carefree look चले गई यहाँ पे. Why? Because as now Sahib was working for someone else and was now carrying his master's container. He was burdened with responsibilities. Earlier as a rag picker, Sahib would carry his own bag and was his own master. Now he was no longer his own master. Fine. So we have understood up to here, and tomorrow we will start a new story of Mukesh, the second part of this chapter. Okay, I want to drive a car. So students, I would like to advise you, please go through the first part of this chapter. Okay, the first we have the two protagonists in this chapter. First one is Sahibi Alam and second one is Mukesh. Thank you. Have a nice day.